again. It is Tuesday, March 17. And I just was thinking about the Americans, Israelis attack on Iran and why this is not going very well for the American and for the Israelis. They thought it's going to be a quick one, like in Venezuela. They killed this supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, and that will be the end of it. The Iranian will rise up and topple the regime, and the regime will collapse, and they'll control the oil, and Israel will become the sole superpower in the area, superior in the air and technology and economy and everything else, and all the Arab Zionists will submit and become client of America. And this has been happening for years, and but didn't work that way. And the Iranian is still mastering strong reaction and retaliation and missiles and rockets everywhere. Targeting American military bases in Arab neighbors in Qatar and Bahrain and United Arab Emirates and Jordan and Lebanon and Iraq and Saudi Arabia, Oman, you name it. It's all out war. And now they start calling foul and the people who keep telling us that the Iranian or Iran run by a religious fanatic start injecting a religious war, a crusade against Muslim extremists and Shia extremists and terrorism. And the people who claim that God gave them a land 4,000 years ago now start talking about fighting those, declaring war against the religious fanatic in the area. And it's the Iranian were able to close the Strait of Hormuz, and that 20% of global economy go through. And now the American Trump's asking people to help open the Strait of Hormuz and complaining about Europe not helping enough and people not helping him enough, and he's alone fighting the mullah, fighting the mad mullah, and the man. Things not going very well, and people started noticing the war, gas price going up, and this is really a no-no. You can wage any war you want, but don't touch the economy, our lifestyle, and the price of oil. So the anti-war movement and sentiment and officials start distance themselves from this war. And, the Russian not helping, the Chinese are just lurking behind, supporting the Iranian from behind, and missiles we never heard about, ballistic missiles, and they can reach 3,000-4,000 miles away. And the capitalists around the world start taking notice and start, reacting and wondering about what happened next, and the role of the American of controlling the capitalists and capitalism around the world has been hindered, and the empire is instead of seeing the Iranian regime change or crumbling, and we see the American standing in the world is crumbling, and the empire is declining, and And this is probably the beginning of the end of the American empire. And this is really reminding me of 1956. The West media call this a Swiss crisis or Swiss war, but in Egypt and the rest of the Arab world, tripartite aggression. And I remember this vividly, and I was too young to understand the political ramification of what's going on in Egypt at the time. But I was going to the school with my dad. He was the principal of the only school in the village, Mitzwed, a very small village in the heart of the Delta. And that day was very tense, and people were whispering and quiet, and marching music, and kind of didn't understand what really going on. But what really I remember vividly an image that stayed with me all these years. A huge picture of Anthony Eden, the Prime Minister of England, or British at the time, who came after Churchill. It's like a cartoon, big, huge cartoon posted on the wall, school wall of Anthony Eden. And I didn't know who was Anthony Eden, just a Western-looking man, flying in the air, upside down, and kicked by a big boots of Egyptian military. And it was just an image and images for a young Egyptian that he see his country kicking and invading forces, or symbol of invading Western. And then, talk a little bit about that, the tripartite aggression, and the Adwan Selassie, when the British and the French conspired with the Israelis to invade Egypt. So the idea is Israel will invade Sinai, and then the French and the Israelis troops will take over Suez Canal. That at the time, that year, that Nasser, the rising star, the rising Egyptian president at the time, nationalized the Suez Canal. The British, they had a mandate and to run the Suez Canal for years. I think it was almost 100 years. And Nasser, didn't have it. Just this is our canal, was built by our people. Hundreds of thousands of people got killed building this canal, and this is ours. And he nationalized it. British Empire were just spreading all over in India and Asia and Africa and all of this. But they still empire, but they're not as powerful as they used to. The losing India, and people start demanding their independence. Nasser toppled the monarchy. King Farouk had been ruling Egypt for hundreds of years, and declare independence, bring Egyptian dignity back. People rally behind Nasser, and once the invasion, the Adwan Selassie took place, Israelis invaded Sinai, the British and French troops took over Suez Canal, bombing everywhere. The Egyptian military withdraw from Sinai, and instead of really taking over the Suez Canal and kind of controlling protect the ships that are going through the Suez Canal. Nasser flooded the Suez Canal for almost 50 ships. The Suez Canal was closed. Yeah, the American Eisenhower didn't have a stomach for this invasion that took place without his permission. It was a chance for the new rising star, the American, to teach the British and the French lessons. This is no longer a territory that controlled by the British, and the British Empire is kind of weakening, and that was a chance for Eisenhower and American to restate their power and new role. Soviet Union sent an ultimatum to the aggressors, British and French and the Israelis, to leave, and the British had to, you know, withdraw, put their tail between their legs, and left Egypt. The French and the Israelis followed, and Nasser became the new hero, and led the independence and non-alliance movement around the world, along with Tito of Yugoslavia and Sukarno, and they were really a power to reckon with, and kind of remind me of the Americans are kind of facing the same situation that the British faced in 1956 when there was an aggression on Egypt and to control the Suez Canal. Americans now cannot control the Strait of Hormuz, that somebody calls it the economic clock of war. And now the sign of a declining empire of the Americans is coming up and showing, and there will be a new world orders, and the American will not be the police of the world, controlling the narrative, the economy, the capitalist system, the dollar, oil. There will be other minor players like Turkey and China and Russia and India. There will be minor, mini superpower, and the American will retrieve back to their local issue here in hemisphere here, and there is a similarity there of what happened to the British in 1957, 1956 war, invasion of Egypt, and what happened now in Iran. The British use Israelis the same way the American using the Israelis to destroy any, or to destroy any resistance in the area. Anybody resist American interest in the Middle East, in the area, was toppled, killed. Making sure the head of states in the Middle East are Zionist, loyal, and follow the American script of open the market, neoliberalism, securing resources, cheap resources, coming oil, gas, whatever. But if you go off the script and try to nationalize this resource, like what happened Mohammad Mossadegh in Iran in the 50s, Nasser, or Saddam Hussein, or the Venezuela's, or Libya, all those people who were nationalist, undemocratically run their country, but they were nationalists. They want to control their own resources, and that's why they are gone, toppled, invasion. But the leaders, the Arab Zionist leader, they work according to a script, no matter how undemocratic they are. And regime doesn't matter. It's not war against Islam. It's not war against extremists. It is what kind of Islam. It is what kind of. So the the Americans are supporting more Muslim countries than attacking them. All these countries that they let their resources available to the Americans' hegemony, they're fine. They're not a war on those countries in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Oman, Jordan, Morocco. This is all Muslim country, but they are client of the Americans. Those who are left alone, no matter how undemocratic they are, no matter how despotic they are and corrupt they are. And that's why this new government in Venezuela, it's a loyal client government. But that's why they've been left alone. They kidnapped the president who mastered some resistance and some nationalist policy. He was kidnapped. A president of a sovereign country was kidnapped. A supreme leader of a sovereign country was killed. So anybody go off the script, the global script, the capital script, compromised, attack him by bombs or attack him by, propaganda and democratic, liberating women, bringing democracy to Iraq, to Afghanistan, to Iran. You use all this slogan that people eat it up. Even the liberal Democrats here bite into it and supported wars because of this culture hot button. So just just the thoughts about some sign of the declining, crumbling empire of the Americans, and that is similar what happened to the British Empire in the 50s, and that was the عدوان الثلاثي, the tripartite aggression on Egypt with France and the Israelis. Once they were defeated and kicked out of Egypt, was a warning from the Soviet Union and a warning from America at the time. That was the end of that, beginning of the end of the British Empire, and handed to the Americans. We can see the same thing here. The European not going along with the Americans. The Arab countries now, they are shitting their pants and cornered between, not lining themselves with the Iranians who don't want to alienate the Americans, and they don't want to align themselves with the American aggression. They want to lose what's left of support. Most of the Arab people in the area and Muslim world are against this war, and they are supporting the Iranian rights to defend themselves, and that's why we can see the Americans, voices of the Americans about what next and what is the exit strategy and so on. But no, regardless of how this war is going to end, this is really is gonna redraw the map in that area, and there will be a new world order, but it will not be run or ordered by the American empire. That's all the rant I'm going to have today. And please, please subscribe, become a member, support our work and independency. I'm working on the Promise, a short film documentary. You can help me with that. Check our website, our Substack, GoFundMe, and we'll appreciate all your help. And we'll see you next ranting.